Third time's a charm, I hope. So initially, my video for this morning was supposed to be entitled 12 hours later, 10 minutes early, so playing off of what I did last night, but actually living up to that. I tried to do that, kind of, and I made a video that I was actually decently proud of until I turned it around, and not only was it zoomed in, but it was like, not just cropped a little tight, but like all the way in. Like you just see a tiny segment of my nose and all my pores and my baby mustache. Like it's really it's pretty funny. I might actually post it at some point. But yeah, that one's not really functional. But I don't even know how I did that because I wasn't wearing my watch, so I don't understand what I'm doing wrong with the zooming. I'm sure it's user error somehow, but I'll sort it out. But that's what I'm doing here. Like I'm just figuring out the process. I'm working through all the pieces, and this is just me doing it in real time. And then I just recorded a video about basically where I'm at and my state of mind at this point in my life. And it was actually really good, I thought, until I turned it around. And at least it wasn't zoomed in. It looked like it was way too zoomed out, which I was like, okay, whatever, I can crop it, it'll be fine. But it didn't actually record. Somehow I moved it back to the photo thing. And so, take 3, which is a very different video already. But let me keep it short and sweet. I really am grateful for the incredible people that I have in my life. And I think that there's so much I can appreciate in the present. This is one of the things that I talked about in the last video of where, yeah, I can imagine this beautiful future all that I want. But it doesn't really help me. And even in a future that is better than the best future I can currently imagine, there are still going to be things about this specific moment in time for me that I will totally miss. And so I think just trying to soak it all in and appreciate it while I'm here. And making the most of the time that I have, making it count. There have been points where my life has been rather precarious. And definitely very isolated at a few different junctures, sometimes for really prolonged periods of time. But as much as that sucks, I think it's a huge part of the reason that I just genuinely appreciate people. Because I know what it feels like to feel very alone. And so that's one of the interesting things, too, of when this sense of loneliness hits me now, which happens a bit more than I'd care to admit, and a bit harder lately. How and why, I don't exactly know. But having that as my context, having that as my frame of reference is like, dude, I have so much to be grateful for right now. It's not that I should disregard that feeling entirely. I'm sure there's signal there. But it's also like it's just a feeling. Right? Listen to it, understand what it's trying to tell me. And then let it go. Let it be. Yeah, so lately it has been this very strange but fascinating balance. This real sense of confidence in my future and in the current trajectory that I'm on. And not just those as hypotheticals, but my ability to really act on that in the present. And then the loneliness that's always been there, and it's certainly nowhere near the loudest it's ever been, but it's been a little louder lately than it had been before that. I mean, I guess it's all relative, right? But I'm also kind of impressed at how okay I've been and am. Where there have been a few things that, like, in the past would have just stressed me out. And maybe I felt them a little bit, but I'm extremely confident in my skill set now. And I have enough of a stack of proof to understand that I'm capable of taking the action steps that I need to take to build everything I want to build. It's just going to take time. Consistency multiplied by time is how you get not everything you want, not even anything you want, but just a life that's worth living, I feel like. And I'm excited about what I'm building here. And I think that this is an interesting documentation of the process. And I'm sure there will be times where I want to speak more elaborately about the future and what I am planning to build in more concrete terms. I have a decent sense of what that looks like, although I'm also okay to keep it open-ended. But as much as I love to talk about that and have done so for hundreds of hours on my voice memos, I'll tell you some, I'll give you little bits, but I think it's way more important that I show you. Not just say, this is what I want to create, which is fine. But what this channel is really about, this is how I'm creating it. And in some sense, how I've created it, right? Like, I'm saying this in the present to you, but I think that this video really has value as a time capsule for the future. And that, whatever, 12 people that watch this in 2024, like, hopefully you appreciate it. Of the people who are watching this, you probably know me and you love me, and I love you, and I appreciate you for watching it for sure. But I think that then in the future, where it's contextualized by all the things that I've done, by all the things that I've built, that's where it becomes a lot more interesting. It's funny because I can see many of the elements of that now. I know where I'm aiming. But again, it doesn't really do me or you any good to say, well, this is what I want and this is what would be nice. It's like, nah, how do we actually operate meaningfully right now in a way that takes the opportunities of our lives and even the pain of the past and translating that into a meaningful future. It's really about the narrative that we're driving and how we frame that. And that's what I've seen in my own life. Like, during the times that I believed that nothing good would ever happen for me, in my perception, that was true. Many of the things I'm most grateful for now were still around back then. I was just too blind to see it. And I've grown up a lot. My perspective has changed. But it's not just an appreciation of the present and the things that I should have been grateful for all along. It's the continued consistent action that has given me characteristics and skills that I simply did not have before, but that will continue to compound and evolve from here. And that the more and more that I do that, it just has a multiplicative effect across domains, where I'm never going to be a perfect version of myself. But even the man I am today is like a substantially evolved version of what 18-year-old me would have wanted to be. And I've also grown on dimensions that 18-year-old me couldn't have imagined. It's been an interesting 5 years since then, for sure. But I think that 5 years from now, and especially the 50 years from now, that's a much more fascinating period of growth, let's say. We're still definitely in the early part of the exponential curve. Like, the fact that it's taking off yet is not obvious to anyone but me, and sometimes not even then. But it will take time. And time is not guaranteed. Nothing is guaranteed. But I do have a real sense of confidence that so long as I continue to do the things that I need to do, that you will be watching this 10 years from now, and that you will be like, damn, okay. Even though you're super vague and you're dancing around it right now in the present, like, I see what you built. I get it. I get what you meant by like wanting to create a community of people who are highly aligned with your values, and just surround yourself with them and make it an ecosystem that is as conducive to living meaningfully in the present as you can possibly be. And I think 10 years from now, that's a fairly realistic time frame for building at least some early version of that. I think some of the bigger picture systems change is going to take substantially longer. And that's okay. Zoom out, breathe in, and get the fuck to work. Or, in the case of right now, go the fuck to sleep. I love you tons. And please, dear God, tell me this video actually recorded so I can go to bed.